Okay, in this video, I want to show you how to craft or manufacture, I guess is a better term, a vehicle. So you may be in a situation in which you need to run supplies, or maybe you just don't feel like running to the front. Maybe you want to craft something. So I'm going to pull up the map, and we're here in the Heartlands, which is generally always all colonial owned just due to its location on the main map. And I'm here at headquarters. You can tell with the star here on the map. All of these sort of starter zones always have the same format. You're always going to see crate storage over here. You're always going to have two garages from which to manufacture vehicles. And then over here you're going to have a tech center, and you're going to have a factory, and you're going to have a refinery. These are always operational. Now you can see these at other locations on the map too. Like for example, here's a factory, and I don't know if there's anything else over here. Is this the refinery? I think this is a refinery, but they're not always active. That's because quite a bit of effort needs to go into activating them so that they can be used for manufacturing and refining. Or creating or manufacturing vehicles. So for that reason, all of this work is often done at sort of the main base for each region. So it tends to get crowded. A lot of people are working around here, and you have to remember that. So here we are, we're facing this direction, and there are two garages to our right. We can actually see two people in this one working. This one looks like it's available. In order to manufacture a vehicle, you need B-mats. Oftentimes, you can find all of the B-mats you need right here. And we'll see. And in this case, there are none. So there are no B-mats here. We're going to also need fuel. Let's see if there's any fuel here. There's a ton of refined fuel already, and there is a ton of unrefined fuel. I'm going to go ahead and grab, if you click this once, I think you'll get 10 units. 10 units of refined fuel. So that's going to at least be able to enable us to drive out of the garage to come over here and get more fuel. Do note that every base has both a stockpile section and an inventory section. This is sort of quick access. This doesn't interact with the stockpile in any way unless you go down here and you click submit, in which case it moves it into the stockpile. It's this way for pretty much all buildings. So this is the area where you work, and this is just sort of like temporary inventory space for the building that you're at the moment. So we don't have any B-mats in there. So we're going to go up here. I'm going to check inside the storage depot. Sometimes people store B-mats over here, and you won't find them in here because these are used for crate storage. This is right here, crates. So this isn't like a rifle or 215 rifles. This is 215 crates of rifles. But sometimes you'll see B-mats over here, and there are none here. So I'm going to continue on down. And okay, he's stopping. Let's see if there's any in here. There are B-mats in here, 100 and 100. I'm going to actually give this garage up for him because I think he's working on a project. Maybe he's going to check this one too. And there are also B-mats in here. So I can grab what someone else has already put in here. And then it won't be used automatically by being in inventory. I have to move it to my backpack. It's got to be in my inventory, not the building inventory. So that's why I mentioned that earlier. So here are the different vehicles that can be created, all of the highlighted ones here. We have an armored car, we have half-track, we have motorcycle, or transport. I usually go with this one or with the light utility vehicle. And then we have a landing APC and some other items in here. If it's not highlighted, then it means you can't craft it. These items have a number next to them, which means there are 69 blueprints in here to enable us to create 69 landing APCs. There's only one blueprint in here to craft a utility vehicle. These don't have a number yet, they're highlighted, and that's because you can manufacture these infinitely regardless of whether or not there's a blueprint that's been activated into this garage. So in this example, I'm going to go ahead and craft the transport. So I need 100 metal, or not metal, rather 100 basic materials, which I've already snagged from the vehicle factory, thanks to some other player that went and gathered the scrap and then refined it and then placed it here. And actually, I think this guy might beat me to the punch. He just drove up. I'm not sure what he's after. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and click this, and I'm going to equip my hammer by pressing 1. I already had it in my number 1 slot, and I'm just going to start left click to start hammering away. It's going to take 100 BMAT, and it's going to take, you know, a minute or so to get through this. So I'm going to go ahead and pause, and then unpause and time warp into the future when it's almost done. Okay, I'm over halfway to the build point. I did want to mention one thing. When you're in this garage, sometimes when you hit E and then click on the vehicle you want to construct, it will say the vehicle's blocked or area blocked, something like that. That just means you're standing too close to the center of the garage, i.e. you'd be blocking the area that the truck needs to sit as you're constructing it. So just move over to the side. That's why you saw me move up to the top over there, just to kind of get out of the way. Okay, just a few more hits here and we will be finished. And we've used the last of the BMATs. If I check my inventory, you see all 100 are now gone. They've been used to craft this. And I now want to just stand right next to it and hit L, and this will lock it so that nobody else can just jump in and run off with it. I'm going to go ahead and hit E and then right click to move all of my fuel in here. If you left click, I think it moves fuel in at a rate of 10 each. If you right click, it moves the entire stack in here. Press Q to enter the vehicle, and if you enter from the driver's side, then you'll already be ready to drive it. If you enter from the passenger side, then you'll actually enter into the passenger side of the vehicle. If you hit Z, you can actually switch seats and move to the passenger side. Switch again, move back. You can also transport people back here. So if you saw a bunch of people standing around up here, and you're in your truck, and you could offer, or transport rather, you could offer to give them a ride. So now I'm just going to cruise up here, and I'm going to grab some more fuel, because 10 isn't enough. I think I'll just grab maybe about 40. That should suffice. We now have 39 fuel in the transport, and if we escape out of here, we can see up here in the left corner, this is actually our fuel gauge letting us know how close we are to empty. So this will actually last quite a while. The refined fuel will give you is a lot more efficient than just the unrefined fuel. And just to show you, this is the unrefined fuel. This is the fuel you get directly from gathering it in the world, which will be in the next video. And then the refined fuel is after it's been refined, obviously. Okay, so I'm not actually going to use this vehicle, but I don't want to waste it either. So I'm just going to back it up right about here. I'm going to exit, and then I'm going to hit. Notice the lock. It's indicating that it's locked up here because I've locked it, but we can still enter it. But I'm going to hit L to unlock it, and that means that anybody can now jump in this vehicle and take it, which is my intention. And that's going to end this vehicle. So it's pretty easy to make a vehicle. Just as soon as you log in, grab BMATs from here. If you don't see them here, check a couple of these other buildings. There may be some of these other buildings over here too. You never know. There's 1, 2, 3 buildings over here that you could check, and there's 1, 2, 3 buildings over here you could check, plus the base itself. So there's a total of 7 buildings that will usually one of them will have at least 100 BMATs in it, but not always. And there may be a situation in which maybe you want to be the guy gathering the materials to make vehicles, or maybe you just want to make one vehicle and there are no materials available and no fuel available. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to create or how to manufacture a vehicle from scratch.